Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Sharin, and I'm from Group 6. And my group will present about the case study analysis about supply chain management. And this is the member of the group. I'm Sharin Elmaira Tambu.
I'm Raffi Mafaldi Rajab.
I'm Hairunisa.
I'm Salma Shabira.
Okay, first part is article synopsis. Yeah, next slide. Okay, so at the start of this, 7-Eleven was first established in 1973 by Ito Yukado, where the first store was opened in Kotoku, in Tokyo in 1974. And originally founded by Masatoshi Ito after World War II, he was convinced after a trip to America that superstores were the future. And Ito's chains of superstores in the Tokyo area was instantly popular and soon constituted the core of Ito Yokada's retail operations. And in 1972, Ito promptly approached the Southland Corporation about the possibility of opening his new idea, the 7-Eleven convenience stores. And after rejecting his initial request, Southland finally agreed in 1973 to a licensing agreement. And in May of 1974, the first 7-Eleven convenience store opened in Tokyo. This new concept was an immediate hit in Japan, and 7-Eleven Japan experienced tremendous growth. By 1979, there were already 591 7-Eleven stores in Japan. By 1984, there were 2,001, and rapid growth is continuing, resulting in 16,086 stores by 2014. Next slide. Okay. Now, the convenience store sector was one of the very few businesses that remained to grow at the stagnant time of the bubble economy in Japan. So from 1991 to 2013, annual sales at the convenience stores more than tripled from just over 3 trillion to almost 10 trillion yen, while supermarket sales stayed stable at about 13 trillion yen. And Japan's convenience store sectors were only slowly integrating by having most of the bigger known companies continue to grow while smaller, lesser known chains started to close. And 7-Eleven had increased its shares of the convenience store market since it opened during these times. And in 2012, 7-Eleven Japan became the top leading convenience store in all of the country, accounting for 38.8% market share in the convenience store segment. This share had increased relative to 34.3% market share in 2018. And this can basically be seen in 2004, where the average daily sales at the other 4 major convenience store chains, excluding 7-Eleven Japan, totaled 484,000 yen, while 7-Eleven stores had daily sales of 647,000 yen, more than 30% higher than the combined competition. And in 2013, average daily sales per store at 7-Eleven Japan increased to 668,000 yen. And basically by 2013, 7-Eleven Japan became Japan's top retail industry with its whole operating income of 224.9 billion yen. And this is all due to 7-Eleven Japan's incredible execution and managing its top services in information and distribution systems, which I will be explaining here in the next slide. Now, from its start, 7-Eleven Japan sought to simplify its operations by using advanced information technology. One of the reasons 7-Eleven Japan was able to rise to success was thanks to its total information system installed in every outlet and linked to headquarters, suppliers, and the 7-Eleven distribution centers. This new system allowed managers and staff employees to quickly manage through its inventory with distribution centers and have access to important information when stocking supplies. This information system allowed 7-Eleven stores to better match supply with demand, as well as improving upon the distribution efforts of its stores. And as the 7-Eleven distribution system tightly linked the entire supply chain for all product categories, this allowed for the key to store delivery, the combined delivery system. And what it basically is, it allows for product deliveries by category and performs easily assigned deliveries straight from the supplier to the distribution center. This distribution center enabled 7-Eleven to reduce the number of vehicles required for daily delivery service to each store. And this dramatically reduced delivery costs and enabled rapid delivery of a variety of fresh foods while ensuring rapid, reliable delivery. And none of these distribution centers carried any inventory. They merely just transferred inventory from supplier trucks to the 7-Eleven distribution trucks.
Let's move on to the second aspect. It is related theory. Next, please. So first of all, supply chain management is the coordination of all supply chain activities involved in enhancing customer value. So a supply chain includes suppliers, manufacturers, or service providers, and distributors, wholesalers, or retailers who deliver the product or a service to the final customer. The objective is to structure the supply chain to maximize its competitive advantage and benefits to the ultimate consumer. Just as with the championship teams, a central feature of successful supply chains is members acting in ways that benefit the team. Competition is no longer between companies, but between supply chains. The key to success is to collaborate with members on both the supply side and the distribution side of the supply chain to make decisions that will benefit the whole channel. Next, please. So there is the bullwhip effect. The bullwhip effect occurs as orders are relayed from retailers to distributors, to wholesalers, to manufacturers, with fluctuations increasing at each step in the sequence. The bullwhip fluctuations in the supply chain increase the costs associated with inventory, transportation, shipping, and receiving, while decreasing customer service and profitability. A number of specific opportunities exist for reducing the bullwhip effect and improving supply chain performance. Bullwhip effect describes the tendency for larger order size fluctuations as orders are relayed to the supply chain from retailers. Bullwhip fluctuations create unstable production schedules, resulting in expensive capacity change, adjustments such as overtime, subcontracting, extra inventory, back orders, hiring and laying off of workers, equipment additions, underutilization, longer lead times, or obsolescence of overproduced items. So as we can see on this graph, this effect causes members of the supply chain to overreact to changes in demand at the retail level. Minor demand changes at the consumer level may result in large ones at the supplier level. So to calculate the bullwhip measure, we divide the variance of orders by variance of demand. Variance amplification is present if the bullwhip measure is greater than 1. This means the size of a company's orders fluctuate more than the size of its incoming demand. If the measure equals 1, then no amplification is present. A value less than 1 would imply a smoothing or dampening scenario as orders move up the supply chain towards suppliers. Next, please. So there are also supplier selection analysis and transportation mode analysis. The supplier selection analysis, so selecting suppliers from among a multitude of candidates can be a daunting task. Choosing suppliers simply based on the lowest bid has become a somewhat rare approach. First, sometimes comparing factors often play a role in the decision. Buyers may consider such supplier characteristics as product quality, delivery speed, delivery reliability, customer service, and financial performance. So for the transportation mode analysis, the longer a product in transit, the longer the firm has its money invested. but faster shipping is usually more expensive than slow shipping. A simple way to obtain some insight into this trade-off is to evaluate holding cost against shipping option. Next, please.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about the third section, which is analysis. So the first question is, a convenience store chain attempts to be responsive and provide customers with what they need, when they need it, where they need it. What are some different ways that a convenience store supply chain can be responsive? What are some risks in each case? So the answers will be a convenience store can be responsive in various kind of ways, such as providing various kinds of service that can be obtained by the customer in the store. There is no doubt that we will be faced several risks in the supply chain. Some cases, for example, the store manager sometimes faced with the risk of logistic delays or damage, and the tactic for this risk is by doing multiple or redundant transportation modes and warehouses, secure packaging, effective contracts with penalties. So the second question will be, what has 7-Eleven done in its choice of facility location, inventory management, transportation, and information infrastructure to develop capabilities that support its supply chain strategy in Japan? The answer will be 7-Eleven Japan emphasizes on regional merchandising to cater on local preferences, where each store carried food items, beverage, magazine, and consumer items such as soaps and detergents. 7-Eleven Japan also used advanced information technologies by successfully using the Total Information System installed in every outlet and linked to headquarters, suppliers, and 7-Eleven distribution centers. 7-Eleven Japan then became the first company in Japan to introduce a point-of-sale system comprising point-of-sale cash, registers, and terminal control equipment. Lastly, the 7-Eleven distribution system is tightly linked the entire supply chain for all product categories. When the store placed an order, it was immediately transmitted to the supplier as well as the distribution center. The supplier received orders from all 7-Eleven stores and started production to fill the orders. The supplier then sent the orders by truck to the distribution center. Each store order was separated so the distribution center could easily assign it to the appropriate store truck using the order information it already had. And the third question will be, 7-Eleven does not allow direct store delivery in Japan, but has all products flowed through its distribution center. What benefit does 7-Eleven derive from this policy? When is direct store delivery more appropriate? So the benefit that is received by 7-Eleven Japan is this system worked on trust and did not require the delivery person to be present when the store personnel scan in delivery, making it to reduce the delivery time and spent at each store, and also reduce delivery costs and enabled rapid delivery of a variety of fresh foods. For the appropriate time of the delivery is when all deliveries were made during off-peak hours and were received using the scanner terminals. And the fourth question will be, what do you think about the 7-Dream concept for 7-Eleven Japan? From a supply chain perspective, is it likely to be more successful in Japan or the United States? Why is it? So the concept of 7-Dream for 7-Eleven Japan increases the convenience for the customer. Stores in Japan tend to be served as drop-off and collection points for Japanese customers, where they prefer to pick up their online purchases at the local convenience store, rather than have them delivered in their homes. 7-Eleven in Japan tend to be more successful than in the US because the North American inventory turnover rate in 2004 was about 19, compared to more than 50 in Japan. And the fifth question is, 7-Eleven is attempting to duplicate the supply chain structure that has succeeded in Japan and the United States with the introduction of CDCs. What are the pros and cons of this approach? Keep in mind that stores are also replenished by wholesalers and DSD by manufacturers. So the pros for this approach is CDCs delivered fresh items such as sandwiches, bakery products, bread, produce, and other perishable ones a day. A variety of fresh food suppliers send product to the CDC throughout the day, where they were sorted for delivery to stores at night. The con is that some of the foods that tend to expire within a day, so that these suppliers need to go back and forth receiving the stocks for the stores. And the last question will be, the United States has food service distributor that also replenish convenience stores. What are the pros and cons to having a distributor replenish convenience store versus a company like 7-Eleven managing its own distribution function? So the pros is the system is provided by some manufacturers with the remaining products delivered by the wholesalers. And the cons will be the DSD accounted for about half the total volume, with the rest coming from wholesalers.
Moving on, we're going to talk about the lessons that can be learned from the case study. Next. The first one is that the key success of a supply chain management is to collaborate with members on both the supply side and the distribution side of the supply chain to make decisions that will benefit the whole channel. Next, 7-Eleven in Japan developed an extensive franchise network and performed a key role in the daily operations of this network. The 7-Eleven Japan network owned franchises. To ensure efficiency, 7-Eleven Japan based its fundamental network expansion policy on a market concentration strategy. Adhering to its dominant strategy, 7-Eleven opened the majority of its new stores in areas with existing clusters of stores. Next. 7-Eleven Japan emphasized regional merchandising to cater precisely to local preferences. Each store carried food items, beverages, magazines, and consumer items such as soaps and detergents. 7-Eleven was focused on increasing the number of original items that were available only at their stores. Private brand products were sold across all store formats and were viewed by the company as an important part of the expansion of synergies across its various retail formats. Next. 7-Eleven Japan gradually added a variety of services that customers could obtain at its stores. 7-Eleven wanted to exploit its close-by convenience stores to better serve its customers. The company attempted to do this by increasing the number of high daily consumption rate products and by bolstering its 7-Meal service for home delivery. And then 7-Eleven Japan sought to simplify its operations by using advanced information technology. 7-Eleven Japan attributed a significant part of its success to the total information system installed in every outlet and linked to headquarters, suppliers, and the 7-Eleven distribution centers. Next. 7-Eleven distribution system tightly linked the entire supply chain for all product categories. The key to store delivery was what 7-Eleven called the combined delivery system. The system worked on trust and did not require the delivery person to be present when the store personnel scanned in the delivery. That reduced delivery time spent at each store. This distribution system enabled 7-Eleven to reduce the number of vehicles required for daily delivery service to each store. Even the delivery frequency of each item was quite high, and this dramatically reduced delivery costs and enabled rapid delivery of a variety of fresh fruits. And then with the goal of introducing fresh products in the United States, 7-Eleven introduced the concept of combined distribution centers, or CDCs. That was all the lessons learned, and that was all from us. Thank you.